We're going into the Rourke Yacht Club. Terribly posh. They've still got beer though. So we just come out the weather briefing and they reckon it's pretty light and poop tomorrow, I believe is the term. Bud and poop. 13 hours they think it may take us. 13 hours. And that's on a good day with a clean bum. We ain't got a clean bum. $140. I bet we're going to start going in a sec. 110. Go pole up. Yeah,
1 minute to the start.
1 minute. Ready to pole up?
30 seconds. Clear line at the moment. 20.
20 seconds. Let's go with the kite. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's get the guy back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. All clear. All clear.
That's a good start. We're clear.
4.
Ready with the kite.
Line was all clear. Well done, everyone. Have a good rest.
Forget it.
The warning signal for the remaining classes.
We there?
Thank you very much, Purple One.
That's us started on the Sork Solo Offshore Racing Club round the island, double-handed. We've got 6 knots of tide with us, a whole load of boats up there, a few boats behind, that's all right. There's my old mucker down there, Jokosaurus. We're in front, that's all that counts. How long is that going to happen? How long is that going to happen? How long will that be for? Right, we need to climb above here to get ourselves a decent lane. And at some point we're going to be putting a waypoint to the windward mark, which is about 20,000 miles away. Let's give you a shot of what's going on up here. There's a whole bunch of boats up there, but they are a lot quicker than us, a lot more expensive than us, and a lot newer than us. Still catching these guys down here. And there's my old mate Mucker down there, my old Mucker Jock, on that light blue spinnaker on the Contessa 32. This race is about 60 miles. And we're already into a luffing match with the boat behind us, which is always good news. Got to be competitive, right? I'm actually watching what he's up to now via the power of a reverse facing camera. Don't know whether just to let him roll us or not. You can come up a little bit here, Harry. So I've entrusted the steering of the boat to the autopilot for a moment. We'll see how that goes. So our main focus today is getting to the Needles by 9 o'clock, so about 2 hours after we start. If we don't get there by then, we start hitting a flooding tide, comes rushing in the Solent, and our life becomes hideous. Well, we knew it was going to happen. The wind has, to put it politely, crapped out. The wind has disappeared. We're down to 2 knots of boat speed. 4 knots over the ground because we've got a good tide with us, but yeah, this is where stuff starts to get annoying, frustrating, and we may even just go stuff it and disappear to Yarmouth for a lunch and a pint. I've got beer on board, it's okay. And this is the state of things. A very droopy spinnaker, flaccid if you will. So this is what we've got going across the Solent. There's a Harry. So this is where the game of snakes and ladders begins. The spinnaker is down, as you will see. Not up there, just not up there. We did take it down. We now find ourselves beating in 3 knots of wind. That's right, friends, beating in 3 knots of wind. And when I say beating, I mean more drifting. We are just setting our headsail and we are following the telltales, the little woolly badgers at the front. And less than about a minute after I recorded that last bit, the wind swung, filled in a little bit, and we've got the spinnaker up again. So here's a little look at what we're up to. We're 230 degrees is our bearing to our mark, and we're bearing 244. So we are 14 degrees high of the mark, which is 6.5 miles away. We're deliberately staying high of the mark because we think the breeze is going to come in maybe on the mainland to our right, and if that's the case, it allows us to bear away and to be able to use the spinnaker. Whereas the guys on the left of us over there will have to take the spinnaker down and just use their white sails. So that's our plan. It's a plan. That there is, I'll wait for Harry to stop trimming. How dare you go for speed, Harry. That over there is Hurst Castle. It is 8:30. Over there is the Hurst Lighthouse, and I don't know, is that the Hurst Castle or is that the Hurst Castle? Either way, we are at the Hurst Narrows. We're about half an hour early. Well, half an hour before our cut-off point of when we start fighting tide. So I am quite damn chuffed with that. The wind is starting to go light again, although at the moment we've got the wind behind us. It's about 4 knots. We've got 6 knots over the ground. This is where it all gets a bit crunchy. We've got a virtual mark to go past up here. We're 10 degrees high of it at the moment. It's 3 miles away. And then from there we'll see what happens, because we get around the Needles. And we don't know what's going to happen. We're probably going to creep inshore if we can to keep in the better tide, because it's still going out if we go a little bit offshore. So our plan is to keep inshore and hug the coast a little, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Anything could be going on with the wind there. So as expected, this is turning out to be a very fickle yacht race. The wind is switching on, switching off. One of the biggest jobs we've got on board is working out where the wind is. There's an old saying in the yacht racing world, which is keep your eyes out the boat. And that has never been as true as it is today. We seem to have positioned ourselves fairly well. We're sort of looking at the water, looking at the dark bits. Those of you that don't know, the dark bits are either a horrible, nasty cloud that you don't want to be anywhere near, but they're generally a bit more breeze. So that is how we're playing things, and there's a lot more breeze off to our right, so I may lurch off to the side, or maybe even fall over if that hits, and then try and bear away. Position wise, I don't think we've made any gains and we haven't made any losses. We're the second slowest boat in the fleet, so it's hard to judge. The guys that are in front should be in front, and the guy that behind should be behind. So it is, I don't know, we're only like 2 hours into the race, and this is likely going to go on for another 11 hours or so if the wind holds. On your head. We have now jibed. We have the spinnaker on the other side. See, spinnaker on new side. We are being caught from behind. There's new breeze coming along here, and the rival, although he doesn't know the rival, it's a healthy rivalry, is behind. Well, actually, he's going to overtake us by the time we get to the mark. I'm waffling. I'm going to go. The mark is coming up. I guess this is the first big landmark of the course, really. I may be second, Hurst being the first. But that there be what you are looking at there over in yonder, I waffle again, is the Needles Lighthouse. And there are the Needles. So this is us coming up to our virtual mark. We are 0.8 of a mile away. And it's pretty clear from what we're seeing in front of us. We're dropping the spinnaker and we are going onto the wind. We will be white sails, jib and mainsail, and working our way around the back of the island. So that's us, we're around the Needles. All got a bit frantic there. I tried to video it and epically failed. Round the back here we seem to have got a nice sea breeze. Got 10 knots here. And we're sort of beamy, reachy, fetchy. Careful not to go too close into this cliff over here, because I think there'll be a wind shadow. But yeah, we've done all right. We've done all right. Clearly a thumbnail for the old Dewberry there, isn't it? What's that thing called? YouTube. That's it. Harry's busily running around at the front and making sure that the boat is all packed away, ready for the next manoeuvre. What that manoeuvre will be, God only knows. Faster boats down there, so we're still in touch with things. I don't think we're doing too bad. So I clearly forgot to press bloody record again. So timestamp, we got round that mark, around the Needles at about 9:30, 2.5 hours after we started. I look like a Centaur, if anyone knows anything about the Doctor Who series. I'm all scrunched over trying to steer with my left hand and hold this camera with my right. Things I do for you guys. Off to St Catherine's Point next, which is I think the southern tip of the island. I've not been round here for a while, but I'm pretty sure the geography hasn't changed in the last X amount of years. So the inevitable has happened, as we thought. Our little grudge match with my old mucker on the Contessa, he's about to overtake us really. There's no getting away from that. Why am I still holding my hand up here? He has got a slippery old hull, nice long and thin, good old classic lines. That is the boat, not you, Malcolm Stewart, just so that you know. Yes, I said that live. Yahoo sucks, dude. Anywho, yeah, he's going to get us for sure. He's got a big old like 148%. He's got a big old 140% overlapping headsail. We've got 120 at best. Our sails are tired and old, like their owner. And he's got some pretty new cloth on that boat. He sails it really well. He's spanking us on the Wednesday evening races at the moment at Amble River. We are having a bloody good old day, really. Wind's holding for the moment. Who knows what's going to happen when we get round the other side. Anything could happen. We've still got a consistent 8 knots at the moment, making 4.5 over the ground. Still going to take us a long time, and it's going to be a long day. We have currently got a decision to make. It looks like it's dying off on the shore in there, or it's a wind shadow, I'm not sure. So we're sticking to the left here. I'll show you where we are in a mo. We're sticking to the left, trying to keep out the tide, because there's still a little bit flowing towards America. If you go further out, we're in 18 meters of water here. It goes out to 30-40 out there, I think. I don't know, I've not even looked at a chart. I just need to know I need to be in here because that's what Winning Tide says. Thank you very much, Graham Sunderland. I am name dropping everywhere. Anyway, let's show you some of the coast and we'll give you an update soon. It's transition time again. The wind has buggered off and gone aft. So we're going to try and put the kite up. Don't know if it's the right thing to do or not, but we're doing it. Forgot you guys were still there. Since I last spoke to you, approximately 5 minutes ago, we have had the spinnaker up, we have had the spinnaker down, and we have tacked all at the same time. We have been going in exactly the same direction. From being the windward boat by 150 yards, meters, a distance, we have now become the leeward boat by the same distance. It is not particularly enjoyable. That said, it's still enjoyable because it's sailing, isn't it? We're at a weird place now. I don't know where we are, halfway between the Needles and Bembridge. No, halfway between the Needles and St Catherine's Point. The wind is very, very fickle. We've made some big gains, just overtaken a boat that should be light years ahead of us, I think. I think it's the Far X2, I'm not sure. They got stuck in a horrible hole, which is kind of where we're heading, but there's not much else around and we're in the best breeze. So we're not sure what to do. We're not sure what to do at all. So I'm going to go and have a think. It's that time in the video where I need to start shouting again. Because now we're up to 16 knots of wind. This race is a bit bonkers. Got the wind 32 degrees apparent on the starboard bow, 15 knots. And so that's given us a tacking angle of about 70. So actually it's about time we tack for the mark, I think, but we'll probably just go into the shore a little bit more so that, I don't know why, we're just probably just going to go into the shore a little bit more. that pretty sight back there is my mates on the Contessa. We seem to have worked our way up quite nicely, and we're now back ahead of him. So that's gone rather well, I feel. So the day's taken another turn. We're now sailing along in 22 just a minute ago, 22 knots of breeze. So, yeah, that's a bit different, eh? Trucking along at 6.7 knots, upwind. We are yet again drastically overpowered. Didn't leave work on time yesterday when I wanted to try and fit the new reefing cars in the boom. So we've just got to live with it. We've pulled on a load of outhaul, we've pulled on a load of halyard, we have moved cars back, and it's still shaking around out here like a bugger. I think we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit tactically with this, but we've got to live with it. And they get a little bit closer. So that's a little bit frustrating. They've got a jump on us there. We're still ahead. Can you believe that after 30 miles of racing that was still nearly a port and starboard? But I'm happy. On a Wednesday night they're normally dicking us by a good few minutes by now, so 30 miles after that we're still hanging on. Still in front. I'm taking that jock. So we're having a bit of a moment. I think the entire fleet has got a jump on us, and we're out the back door. DFL, dead flipping last. So we decided there's only one thing for it really. Eat against us. I should definitely not have taken a bite of that before I spoke to you. Yeah, it looks like we've done something stupid. Thought about carrying on when the Contessa sort of got to us and then flopping back and sailing along with them because their tack suits have been quite good. Ours have been all right up until this point. But yeah, we seem to be getting lifted and lifted and lifted closer to the wind, which is putting everyone inside us further away from us, and it would just be a stupid time to tack. We don't know what to do. I do know we're in about 80 metres of water. I know we're in 25 metres of water now. 80 metres of water is quite deep, right? Anyway, I don't know what I'm on about. So I'm still reeling from my tactical blunder. We're about 10.5 miles off of Bembridge Ledge. I mean, we're still in the race, of course. Got no idea how anyone else is doing, but we were judging ourselves on the Contessa. And they have done really well. They've just flown away from us now. There's no getting them back whatsoever. Did think about getting downhearted. Well, I didn't think about it, got downhearted, and I went, no, not getting downhearted. That's part of what this is all about, isn't it? And if we're going on to do things like the Fastnet, then you can't get downhearted about it. Yeah, we're just cracking on. We're just doing what we do. Harry's having a stint on the helm. I've just looked at a load of chart gizmology. I don't think there's anything tactically we can do from here on in. It's a kind of get through Sandown Bay, get round the corner. Maybe it's a kite when we get to Bembridge. Depends what's going on in the middle of the Solent, or in the Solent when we get round the corner. More than likely it's going to be a bit of a reach up to the fort. Kite home? Who knows? But there's nothing that we can do tactically, I don't think. That goose is gandered. No, that ship has sailed. That's a bit more technically correct for what we're up to, isn't it? So for those of you who don't know, this is the Isle of Wight. We started just up here, just off of Cowes, and then we've come all the way along here through the Hurst Narrows where we needed to be by like 9ish. We've come round, where is it? Here, which was an imaginary mark, and then we've come all the way along here. We tucked in here to get out the tide, and then this is where the tactical blunder was made. We carried on out here, the Contessa came in here, and it's just shot along here. There must have been some better tide here we didn't know about, but we just carried on out here. Talking about my leg, and then we've come back So we've now sort of just passed Ventnor, I think. Maybe we're around here somewhere. So yeah, there's Ventnor. We've got to come up along here, across Sandown Bay, to Bembridge Ledge Buoy, up to, I think it's called Horsesand Fort, and then all the way back here, finishing off the western entrance to Cowes. So the wind has crapped out, we're down to about 5 knots of breeze. The whole world has slowed down. Oh, hello, falling over. Got a bit bumpy around here. Anyway, we're pressing the reset button. Cheers. Well, after the 20 whatever it was knots we had earlier, what do you reckon of that? That is currently 3.1 knots. And we are doing 3 knots over the ground. Yes, my friends, 3 knots. We are matching the wind speed with our boat speed. Nothing whatsoever to do with tide. Yeah, today has VHF radios. Warships, go away. Right, today has taken another turn. We are now... I don't like you, Mr. Warship. I don't know if you can hear me or even watch this. I don't even know what I'm saying. Where was I? The day's gone bad. There's no wind. Everyone else has stretched their legs and they're flying away from us. We're bobbing along, but as you saw, we have a can of beer. So life is good. What do you do when the wind switches off? I guess if you're racing, you probably pull the rest of your hair out like me. If you're cruising, you just shove your engine on and enjoy it.
My course is 210.
So, situation desperate. We're trying to fly the kite upwind. I'm having to face backwards to do this. There's Harry in the back though. It's nice and pretty. Yeah, we are getting dragged 20 degrees away from the mark just by the tide. So we've decided to put the kite up to try and make some sort of headway. I think it's given us 0.3 of a knot. Maybe not in the right direction, but we've got 0.3 of a knot. I'll take forward momentum. Doesn't look like the spinnaker's worked. Didn't think it was going to, but it gave us something to do, as Harry quite rightly highlighted. Now we get something else to do because we're going to drop it. Fun. Harry's downstairs packing spinnakers. I've left the autopilot to do its thing, and I'm down here to leeward in some vain attempt of trying to get the boat to heel to leeward so that our sails, well, not filled, just stop flipping flapping really. That'd be nice. Oh, that is Harry's head. Let's have a chat with Harry. Thoughts, Harry?
Thinking it's light.
Light.
Light. Not too enjoyable. Like a bit more wind. But we make do.
Yes, folks, we are still here, probably in exactly the same spot when we spoke to you last. We have 0 knots now. That's good fun, isn't it? 0 knots, 0.3. Thanks for small blessings. I don't know what the saying is. Kind of losing my mind out here. There has not yet been any consideration for retiring from this epic voyage. Not thus, however. Harry doesn't know I'm thinking that we may need the anchor when we get round the corner. There are, however, boats retiring around us left, right and centre. The entire fleet has done very well and got round the course other than us. And our hats go off to you, ladies and gentlemen, for your epic mastering of today's conditions. I can see 4 boats in front of me. I don't know. 2 of them are motoring, 3 of them are motoring, one's got his spinnaker up, and you may be able to see a smattering of boats behind. We have now tried just about every combination of sail. The wind, well, there ain't any. So we've done that. So the mark we've been going to for the last 4 hours, still about 3 hours away at our 0.5 rapid pace. So one thing left for it really. Kettle, cuppa, Brits we are. We think we're gonna have to abandon this. And there is everyone else retiring. Sort of says it all really, doesn't it? We are doing 0 knots. We have been sat next to a marker buoy over there, and I think actually we're now starting to go back on it. So Harry has spotted a glimmer of hope, which is a little band of breeze behind, but equally it's not very hopeful because he doesn't believe it's going to reach us. So we're going to have our cuppa. Oh, that's hot. We're going to have our cuppa and put the cups away, and after the cups away, more than likely pop the engine on. The tide is going to turn shortly against us, I reckon. We're already drifting back on that mark, as I said, slightly, and as much as we want to carry on and be the better men, I don't think we are better men, and I think nature has kind of beaten us today. You're not going to believe this. We didn't even finish our cuppa and the wind has puffed in ever so slightly. We are going to try and pop the kite up and see if we can get around this mark at least.
It's the best sight to see all day.
By Jove, it's working. So this is Benbridge Buoy, Benbridge Ledge. We made it, baby. Oh, hang on.
Wind it on a bit.
Okay, I'll come down a touch. Hang on. There you go. Hang on. I'll come down, mate. So that took us forever and a day to get round, but the copper call and Harry's petulance, obstinance, sheer bloody mindedness of not giving up absolutely paid off. We are now tight reaching with the spinnaker at 5.2 knots up towards the fort, which is our last turning mark. Hopefully we'll get there. And then the question is, will we get to finish at Cowes? To be decided. Well, we're not going to decide, the weather is really. Fortunately, we fixed our nav lights the other day as well, so if we need the darkness to finish, we have the darkness. I believe in a thing called love. Not that darkness. Long day. We've been racing now for 11 hours. We have got to the final mark of the course, which is the fort that I've just shown you. We're creeping along. We should really be in deeper water, just because the tide is going to start to race and we want to be in that, but we're cutting the corner just for minimizing the distance. The wind is starting to disappear again. We're down to 3 knots of wind. Oh, actually, no, we're not. We're up to 5 knots, and then we've got 4 knots over the ground with the tide. There's a shallow bank here to avoid, which I've just done my tidal calcs and we'll be all right with. But yeah, this is a tricky one. It'd be so gutting, absolutely gutting, if we didn't get to finish this after everything we've put in. We talked about retiring. We talked about just dropping an anchor and having a few beers. But we've persevered. We're carrying on. We're almost there. We've got 8 miles to the finish. 8 flipping miles, and all I can see up ahead of me is glass water. So we are going to get ourselves into the deep tide and point the boat at the mark, and we are going to keep our fingers crossed. I know you're watching this 2 weeks, 3 weeks probably, 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 1 day after the race, but if you could keep your fingers crossed for us anyway, that would be bloody lovely. Our resilience seems to know no boundaries. We have been going nowhere for quite some time, as you can see with this glassy stuff over here. I don't know what to say. We probably should have given up hours ago, but we're not. We're trying to go that way. We're trying to go that way, but we're going that way. And yeah, it is a pretty trimaran, haven't it? So we have still not finished. We've got just under 4 miles to go. We've now got 10 knots of breeze. So that's another little quirk to the end of the day. Currently doing 4.5 knots over the ground, and I can just see cows. May have given the race officer and my other half a bit of a scare, as they didn't know what we were doing and have been trying to get in contact, but the phone was on silent, and I've been trying to reserve battery so that I can video for you dudes. As you can probably see behind me, it's getting a bit dark. The day has drawn on for sure, but if this wind holds, and I'm saying nothing about that, if this wind holds, then this could be the first ever round the island race I finish in my own boat. So my pig-headedness and stubbornness has only really got one reason, that I want to finish around the island in my own bus. Right, I think we might have to put a tack in a minute. Speak to you in a moment. Almost there. 1.9 miles away. I don't know what the time is. Any idea what the time is?
About 8 last time I looked.
About 8ish. That's cows behind me that you can see back there. A bit wobbly of the camera there, sorry. Back there, that's cows. So hopefully we've got half an hour, 40 minutes maybe. Everywhere we seem to go, it is 2 hours. No, it's not. Yeah, no, it's an hour. I don't know. Everywhere for the last 10 hours, everything has been an hour away. Yeah, we should hopefully be finishing soon. We'll let you know when we do. .6 of a mile away, about 9:15-ish. Wouldn't you know it, the wind shut off again. 3 knots. Loving today. And for the final instalment of today's special episode, there is absolutely no wind whatsoever. 0.2 of a knot. The finishing mark is 0.4 of a mile away. It is just over my shoulder. Literally just over my shoulder. And we can't flipping get there. We finished. Yeah. 9:39, I think I just said.
Yeah.
9:39. So there you go. That was that. First ever race finished on my own boat. Quite happy with that. Bloody long day. What's that? 14 hours. Such fun. Could probably walk it quicker. Anyway, we've done it. We're going to prop the engine away. No, we're not going to put the sails away. Start the engine. What we haven't told you is we've got a few starter motor issues, so now we just have to short it each time because it's not playing ball. Anyway, that's us done. We're going to pack up. I've got no idea what this is going to turn out like. Cheers.